and a very welcome to the Aquarian's Sunday service, September 10th, 2023. It is good and it is pleasant to be here with you. We set this time aside as a time to nurture our spirit, feed our soul, hopefully gain some knowledge for self-development in community. The goal, the aspiration of the Aquarian is to have a physical space made sacred, holy, set aside for people to come together in holy communion, in shared experience of their own sanctity and the sacredness of others. Is this a religion? We are a religious reformation, a spiritual revolution. We find and expound upon the esoteric, allegorical, metaphorical, symbolical meanings of the stories of all the world's religions and traditions. And we syncretize them, weeding out that which is not healthy for the forward, healthy progress of humanity, and taking that which is useful to us living together in harmony. And that takes a purgation process, likened to the month that we find ourselves in, getting ready for harvest season, picking out that which is good, releasing that which is not conducive for our physical health and well-being right now in this time of year. In the opposite end of the year, as we get ready for spring, we do our spring cleaning. It is in the sign of Pisces, which is water. So it's more of an emotional cleansing. Right now, we're in the sign of Earth, Virgo, which is a physical, bodily cleansing, purging, a breaking down of that which is not necessary for the beauty of the temple, which is why we have the breaking down of the temple ritual commemorated in this time. And we have 9/11, the towers that were destroyed during this time of year. Breaking down the opposites, the adversary forces, and synthesizing them together into one. Finding that balance, that harmony, which is what happens when we meet the scales of Libra, judgment. This time of year in the Jewish tradition is called the day of awe and wrath and judgment, where your name gets put down in Libra, the book of life. It seals it. And then the book of death is from fall and winter seasons, where the light is not its strongest. Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. Rosh meaning head in Hebrew. Hashanah, Anna, an annual year. So, if you are a lunar cult, you're going to set up your holiday with the full moon in Aries. And they start the new year when you could first visibly see the crescent moon. So it's usually a day after the new moon. But the other calendar, the ecclesiastical calendar, starts with Nisan, which is the spring equinox, the first full moon in Libra. its opposite sign. I say that to say this, that the Aquarian is not doing anything revolutionary in that we set up our liturgical calendar with the seasons, with the sun and its corollary, heavenly luminary, the moon. And just as our ancestors worked the fields and crops and harvests, they were more in tune with this. But those same energies and forces in nature are still at work. The growth of a seed, the fruition of it, the decay of it. This is a time, the ninth sign of the zodiac, allocated to Virgo, the virgin womb, the virgin birth, the virgin of the heavens, who has a sheaf of wheat in her hand because it's the time of gathering in the wheat, the harvest. Bethlehem, the house of bread, Virgo season. And in the womb, the life, the spark of energy of consciousness, being purified, being nurtured, and being purified in the dark stages of the creation of life. And so right before it gives birth, in the ninth month, the ninth sign of the zodiac, is the Hebrew letter Tet, the ninth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The 9 is the number of Mars in numerology. Mars finds its ancient joy in the sign of Virgo, meaning when that planet is in that sign, it is in a joyful disposition. Mars gets to be a martyr in the sign of the handmaid of the Lord. Mars is that fire, primal, instinctual fire, desire, passion to live. In the letter Tet, we have a Yod, which is 10, which is denoted as a small flame. And then we have a glyph that looks like that. In the tarot deck, which is the ninth card of the tarot, is the card of the hermit, who holds up a lamp holding a spark in it. It has to do with a looking in before a going out. So hence the idea of a hermit is going in to alone to purify often, to get in touch with the unconscious, to try to bring it to consciousness. And that means quieting our monkey mind of Virgo, which is a little bit nervous. It's gathering all the stuff because it needs it to survive through the winter. So if you know a Virgo, they are always working. They need to be doing something. It's a kind of it can go wrong and be a nervous system frayed. Mercury, the messenger, is related to the messaging system of our central nervous system, which works energy up and down, out and in through our body. So it's in charge of the mutable signs. Mutable air in Gemini, which takes us from the spring into the summer, and then mutable Virgo, mutable earth, as the messenger, it takes us from summer into fall, which is why it's a psychopomp often in traditions of mythology. Mercury is the closest to the sun. It's likened to ancient Egypt Thoth, who records what the sun dictates, and then it is a messenger and brings that message out to the earth. It's in between, together with Venus, Aphrodite, and Hermes, Mercury, or Hermaphrodite, is the idea of bringing Mercury, our mind, together with Venus, our desire. Mars is more a passion. but related to Venus. Just on the other side of the sun is Mars. But we have to bring together our Venus, our heart, our emotional love, together with our practical Mercurian mind. And that's how we bridge and take the step up to the sun, where we soul, where we get back to our soul, our spark of the sun. And then we have to get through that trial and journey, which is pride turned into purified into courage. Yeah. Beautiful. The cycle of the season, from its birth to its death and its rebirth, is matched up to the cycle of our life and the cycle of the day. And in that is the cycle of our soul's development, our spiritual journey. But we all share in the journey of the sun because we're on Earth. So using astrology, astronomy, the seasons for us all to gather under and agree upon, I think it's not new, and I think it could be beneficial. One doesn't even have to believe in astrology and that the planets or the sun and the moon have an effect on our lives psychologically or spiritually. And that's a real disconnect from Earth, really. And the spirit from Earth. The whole message of Jesus Christ is God, the Spirit, incarnating into Earth, us. How we are. This happens in every conception point. When God the Father and God the Mother, Earth, got together to make us. Brought our spark of God, Yod, into Earth. And there is a serpent coiled up, Tet 9, to strike the light. God, a circle, the number 9, carries that same idea in it. I just kind of put that together right now, but holding up the lantern, learning from nature's creation of life so that we might tap into that to bring in light into life. 9 is the most sacred number in ancient Chaldean numerology. It's odd. In numerology, it neither adds nor it takes away, which I believe is related to karma. Because when we come in here, they say that it's because of karma, our past deeds, reflecting in this incarnation's things that we can't control. And so we want to make sure that we're not creating more karma, negative consequences due to our negative actions, because we see that played out in the laws of nature. I do this negative action, I have a negative consequence to my health that happens. The idea of health, physical health, is instrumental in this season. And what does it tell us about the health of our soul? The health of how are we nurturing that spark of God consciousness within ourselves? It's a little bit of it is a very critical energy this time of year. It's a good time to clean, to edit, especially with Mercury in retrograde in the sign of Virgo, its home, its ruler. It's a re-editing of going back to almost the beginning, starting over again. It could feel like you're not getting anywhere. We have all of the outer planets from Jupiter out to Pluto in retrograde But we have Venus, who starts her forward progression from a long retrograde in Leo. So as Venus is gaining in momentum, you could see her in the morning. She's freaking beautiful as the morning star, the bearer of the sun, the light bringer. What are we doing with that light? We're about to meet the scales of judgment in Libra. It could be a serious, somber time. It has to do with kind of alone. It's twin in the house of bread and the house of the two fishes of Pisces. Pisces, the last sign before the spring equinox, before the new year, according to the sun. From whence we have been on the grand calendar, which is give or take 24,000 years old, as opposed to the 24-hour clock of our day, or the 360-day cycle of our year. So the opposite, that's where it's these are the signs of purification, and it's not fun. These are the house of Virgo is your sixth house, which is the house of of known enemies, sickness, and then Pisces of like the hospital, of aloneness. And we're getting out of that. In the East, they call it the Kali Yuga, which is their mutable signs, mutable earth, earthquakes, Virgo. The stomping of the grapes, Virgo season, to make the wine, the house of the newly wedded, the marriage, Libra. At the wedding feast, they go to Mary, the Virgin, and ask for more wine. And turning water into wine is an alchemical, symbolic meaning. In the religion dedicated to Dionysus, they too had the changing of the water into wine because it denotes this season. The blood from the death of the sun, where it gets stung by Scorpio in its fall, in the season of fall, gives the blood of Mars, the ruler of Scorpio, to the water. The blood signifying water, liquid, containing fire, the spark, the soul. Mars is the red planet. Mars, Adam, the red one. Adam and Eve were said to be created in this time of year because they were given blood. The earth sacrifices for us so we might live. How beautiful. Together with the sun. What are we sacrificing? Are we sacrificing our health for an indulgence in unhealthy attachments? Or are we sacrificing our overindulgence for the health of ourselves and others? A reality check time is Virgo. Its opposite is spiritually checked out time, Pisces. For 2,000 years we've been in Pisces. It's also the sign of illusion, delusion, dream, sleep. Aquarius is awakening the conscious. And then people stuck in the Piscean age thinking that that's how somehow demonic. Because the serpent and a snake, not knowing the allegorical meanings of these stories, taking them literally and then been fighting over it. Well, it is a pleasure to be a part of this alchemical process, which is the creative process of creating life. Right now, it's in the putrefaction stage, the purification stage, becoming pure like a virgin. So that oil, that chrism within us, our blood, our waters, are a conduit for light and life. That we might be able to be a lamp on our way through the dark, in this valley of shadows we find ourselves in, and that we might help lead others with that lamp of knowledge. Let's give thanks for the advancement in technology through the work of man to help expand our consciousness, to give us the knowledge of these stories so that we're not stuck in blind, deaf, and dumb land. But at the same time, with this knowledge, you can't claim innocence anymore. You say, okay, I knew what to do, and I didn't do it. Is more guilty than somebody who knows what to do and they don't do it. The first part of arousing the sleeping dragon in our energetical body, mapped after the sun, the light, that energy giving as above, so below, as within, so without. Let it be done on earth as it is in heaven. We are creating a solar system, a system around your soul, your light, to best share your light and to best receive light. Right now, it's chiseling away the dross, that imperfect stone, and perfecting it, the sign of perfection, the perfecting one, the Virgin of Heaven. Which is why it could be so critical. If you're like having a good day, being all lost in Pisces land, enjoying your anime binge watch, and then bam, your girlfriend busts open the door and says, you don't have a job, you're living here, I'm paying rent. It just tears you. It's the Virgo experience. So if we have one in our life, let us know that they do that ultimately out of a nurturing love. Mercury in Earth, the feminine, Merlin, the magical priestess of the forest, herbalist, Virgo, with the broom in her hand because she's always cleaning. You get lost in Virgo land and never get big picture stuff done to your dream by being anal retentive over this needs to be perfect before I go and do my show. I have Mars in Virgo. I know that. But Mars in Virgo is also like Mars in Pisces, in that it asks for a surrendering of my will to thy will, the greater good of humanity. The very start of it in this season of Tishret, which is before we let's not be too judgmental on ourselves, because that Virgo energy can be overly critical. That voice in your head we have to calm that monkey mind. Mercury moves so fast. always needs to be entertained and watching something and watching Mercury on wrong is TikTok. You just pull up the phone, you open up TikTok, it's just like bam, 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 bam. It's like sensory overload. Not being able to stand still, too much caffeine, too caffeinated, too sugarated. Virgo stuff that wants us to deal with that. Our daily routine regimen. Virgo wants us to re-evaluate that, redo it. Leo's like, bust out on the stage as a newborn baby. It's roar, rah, I'm here. But that's that Martian energy and that sun channeling it. And then the baby getting washed off afterwards and crying and scared. It's Virgo. She is the handmaid of the Lord, just as she is the great what? When you are a bridemaid to get the bridegroom ready for the wedding feast in Libra season, where we have peace and harmony, where we enjoy the fruits of our labors, Virgo, when we go into labor, the 9th month of Virgo. I just put that together right now. Did we have Labor Day recently? We did! Oh my gosh! That's crazy. Did I cover everything? Yeah, get ready for the alchemical union, the alchemical marriage of the spirit to the soul and the body. The two becoming one in the mysteries of Scorpio. Using sex not in the Garden of Eden without divinity present. The reason from whence we got kicked out of the garden into hell. So that serpent energy is now crawling on its bottom, on its belly, in the dust of the earth, in the darkness of our body is the temple. The fire, the spark in it. Number 9, Mars. Fire. Energy. Through our willpower, Mars. Through our discipline, Mars exalted in Capricorn. This is also a time of discipline. Being a disciple, being a follower of Christ, coming together with Christ, rising the holy chrism to be anointed King, Messiah. That moving energy, our central nervous system, Mercury art thou. Crude Mercury, the primal instinctual part of it, we use that, purify it, to perfect that stone, to make it an altar, to bring God, the light, to earth. And we do that through even in our smallest acts that may be mundane, let them be acts of great devotion. And in that, you are injecting conscious love, devotion into it, that these acts. An active contemplative is what some mystical traditions teach. The nun. It's like a Virgo energy. The priestesses in the temple who tend the flame to Ceres, of the goddess of the harvest, or Hera, the faithful wife. Happy wife, happy life. Get in touch with the goddess. And if we don't, then we're really just half atheists. And we're separated from earth and the emotional realm. Then we're nothing more than a phantom of a breeze blowing in the wind. No home, no temple. What we create with our willpower in our mentals the kingdom of heaven, beautiful temple with all our friends and family and neighbors together rejoicing. And then let that be done on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven, the heaved up place in our head. Let the heavens and the earth come together in perfect, beautiful harmony and peace as we celebrate this holy sacrament of the Aquarian, where through our conscious willpower, directed energy, love and devotion, through our words, we transform these earthly waters into heavenly, divine waters of purification, of strength and renewal as we pass from the age of Pisces into Aquarius, fully, holy, perfectly. So it is. We are made healthy and whole in this season of the harvest of Virgo. Let's go to my cards that I made with symbols, alphabets, astrology, the elements, numbers, glyphs of the stars, and asteroids, the heavenly hosts, principalities, dominions, thrones. We ask the goddess to let us reach behind the veil. O keeper of the gate of the unconscious, we bestow thee for some guidance in this time of the year for us precious Aquarians out here trying to do it. It's hard to define what I'm doing all the time. Are you a church? Are you a temple? Are you a religion? I don't like all these labels. I think you get an idea what we're doing here. Oh, I got the brightest star in the night sky. Sirius, Isis. Oh, Isis. Oh, Sirius. The marriage of Isis and Osiris. A beautiful scene from a play of Mozart's done in a Masonic temple. Got in trouble for doing it because it was exposing the sacrament of the sacred alchemical union of Isis and Osiris, the sun and the moon, heaven and earth, the stars, and us as a star, which is why I wore this star today. As a reminder that we are stars, souls, sons of God. And we grow by sacrificing ourselves for others. If we're just living a life that's just indulgent in our own, satisfying our own pleasures, we will find that empty. Let us look in and be critical of how we are expounding our energy. How are we using our flame? Are we doing things that are darkening it or things that are helping it to grow? And also, I'm reminded by the brightest star in the night sky to wish, to dream a dream. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. We're all under the same bright stars. Somewhere out there, beneath the... I just can't hit them high notes today. Let us ask for the goddesses of our ancestors. The archetype survives in the image of the Virgin Mary, the Virgin of the heavens. Together, may they help us and give us strength as we strive to be good disciples, disciplined in our spiritual soul's journey here. May we be nurtured. May we be nurturing. And as we are nurturing, are we nurtured? That just came to me. Thank you, Goddess. Source of inspiration of all the poets and arts who are intuition personified in the law. Ooh, we got the card Contemplation. And I was just talking about can't really see that well. Active contemplation. This is really an active time of the season, Virgo. But let us not forget the importance of contemplation. Let's see what we have written. Let's make this more meaningful and special and with the sounding of a bell, that we might be able to still our minds. Not forgetting to breathe. Whew. Our breath expands the flame in our temple to make it brighter. Our thoughts are either taken away from that fire, or with purified mind, may our thoughts be holy and give energy to that fire, so that our energy might be vibrating higher. 29, contemplation. Okay, let's see what we got. Enjoy your own company. I did talk about it being kind of a lonely time of year. The hermit who's like in solitude. Enjoy your own company. Oh my gosh, I just took a screenshot of something and I was meant to mention it. And it was great. What did it say? But literally the last photo on my phone. If you don't know how to be alone, you don't know who you are. If you don't know how to be alone, you don't know who you are. A pagan saying. But people will use the word, you're a new ager, you're a pagan, you're a heathen. People say all types of things. Well, when I'm alone with myself, how I came into this world and how I leave, those people aren't there. I'm working on, what's it called when you get confidence? And not caring about what people think too much and just do the thing. But let me say, am I enjoying my own company? Number 29, contemplation. This is a wonderful time for you to reorganize and consider the things you enjoy most in your life. Reorganizing a very Mercury retrograde in Virgo. Virgo is the organizer. Mercury going retrograde is reorganizing. Consider the things you enjoy most in your life. What are the things that I'm passionate about? Mars, who's in Libra. This is like being passionate about creating harmony. Social justice could be like very fiery right now. Make a point of spending a little time allowing your mind to wander away from the everyday concerns that occupy your time. Give yourself an opportunity to be inspired inside of us, that spiraling, fiery energy. And you know how we raise it? by relaxing. In a way, it's God doing the work, and we don't. We surrender to it, which is just what happens in the womb. The stomach, our digestive system, you don't actively digest stuff. It does it for you. The law of Gaul, who is Ma'at, the scales of Libra in ancient Egypt, the law. Ruminate on your inner voice, looking in like the hermit, and listen to your own counsel. I feel like that was very in line with today's message, as it always seems to be. Am I reaching? I don't, you tell me. All right, guys, let's have a great week. We get ready for a new moon in Virgo. We have about 3 to 4 days in preparatio to really, we're purging out, we're releasing, and then we start to build after the new moon. What kind of seed are we going to give nurturing to when that new spark is planted in the new moon of Virgo? What are we planting? Let us plant that which comes from our heart. Courageously, no matter what the haters say. We'll use that haterade to nurture, to feed our flame. Let's go, the Aquarian. Have a great week.